Hello, my dear friends. This is Dr. Olivia Thompson, and today I'm going to share something that could literally save your most precious memories. Did you know that the white bread you eat for breakfast might be silently deteriorating your brain cells? That's exactly what you heard. After 60, certain refined carbohydrates that seem harmless could be stealing your memory, cell by cell, day after day. If you're over 60 and have been having trouble remembering names, finding words during conversations, or forgetting where you put your glasses more frequently, you're not alone. And most importantly, this is not necessarily a normal part of aging. In fact, it may be directly related to what you put on your plate every day. What science has recently discovered is surprising and revolutionary for our understanding of brain health. Some ultra-processed foods with high glycemic index cause abrupt spikes in blood glucose. These spikes aren't just a problem for diabetics. They trigger an inflammatory cascade that directly affects the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming new memories. Chronic inflammation impairs the production of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter essential for memory and concentration. Furthermore, these sugar fluctuations accelerate the formation of amyloid plaques, characteristic of Alzheimer's disease. I know this reality well through the story of Mrs. Teresa, a 71-year-old retired accountant who came to my office complaining of increasingly frequent memory lapses. Doctor, I'm forgetting numbers that were always my specialty. I'm afraid I'm developing dementia like my father. She was visibly distressed, and I understood her concern. After a detailed analysis of her diet, I noticed she was consuming white bread, sugary breakfast cereals, refined pasta, and industrialized cookies daily, believing they were moderate and appropriate choices for her age. After adjusting her diet, eliminating certain foods and introducing others that I'll share with you today in just 10 weeks, Teresa reported a remarkable difference. It's as if the fog in my mind is dissipating. I can do mental calculations again. Her eyes sparkled with a new hope that deeply moved me. Let's get to the revelations that can transform your brain health. The 4 foods that may be harming your brain right now are: first, white and refined breads, which cause glucose spikes equivalent to pure sugar. Second, industrialized breakfast cereals. Yes, even those claiming to be whole grain often contain hidden sugars and highly processed grains. Third, white pasta, which is quickly converted to glucose in the blood, overloading your system. And fourth, industrialized cookies and crackers, which combine the worst of both worlds: refined carbohydrates, trans or saturated fats, and various chemical additives that your brain simply doesn't recognize as food. These foods, when consumed regularly, cause chronic cerebral microinflammations that, over time, can accelerate cognitive decline. It's as if each bite of these products is placing small stones in the path of the synapses between your neurons. Initially, you hardly notice the difference, but over time, these stones transform into real barriers to your memory and mental clarity. Have you noticed how you feel mentally slower or confused after a meal rich in refined carbohydrates? It's not your imagination, it's your brain biochemistry responding to the inadequate fuel it receives. On the other hand, there are 4 foods that act as true protectors for your brain, almost like a shield against cognitive decline. First, genuine whole grains. Not those products that just claim to be whole grain, but rather rolled oats, quinoa, and non-polished brown rice. These foods release glucose slowly and steadily, providing constant energy for your brain without inflammatory spikes. Second, nuts and seeds, especially walnuts, Brazil nuts, and flaxseed, rich in omega-3, antioxidants, and Vitamin E. These small nutritional powerhouses have demonstrated in studies an impressive ability to protect the integrity of neuronal membranes and even stimulate the formation of new connections in the brain. Did you know that just a 30-gram portion of walnuts per day is associated with a significant improvement in cognitive processing speed in the elderly? Third, cold water fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA. DHA comprises approximately 25% of all lipids in the brain and is crucial for the fluidity of neuronal cell membranes. Studies show that populations that consume more fish have significantly lower rates of degenerative dementias. And fourth, legumes such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas. These foods provide stable energy to the brain due to their ideal combination of proteins, fibers, and complex carbohydrates, in addition to being rich in B-complex vitamins, essential for neurological health. Dr. Ricardo Campos, a neuroscientist specializing in brain nutrition and a colleague whom I deeply respect, explains, "The brain consumes about 20% of our body's energy, but it is extremely sensitive to the quality of fuel it receives. The difference between accelerated cognitive decline and maintaining healthy cognitive functions can literally be in your pantry." I couldn't agree more with that statement. What we observe in our clinic is truly remarkable. Patients who replaced refined carbohydrates with complex sources and quality proteins began to notice significant improvements in just 1 month. Mental clarity returns, energy stabilizes, and that constant sensation of brain fog that many describe begins to dissipate. I remember the case of Pedro, a 68-year-old engineer, who was about to retire early due to cognitive decline that prevented him from keeping up with new technologies in his field. He was depressed and felt useless, a devastating feeling for someone who had always prided himself on his sharp mind. After implementing these dietary changes I've shared with you, he sent me an emotional message after 3 months. "Doctor, I'm learning programming again with the ease I had at 40. I never imagined that something as simple as changing my breakfast could have such a profound impact." Today, 2 years later, Pedro not only continued working but has become a mentor to young engineers in his company. The most fascinating thing is that it's not just about avoiding problematic foods, but strategically replacing them. For example, instead of morning white bread with jam, try a bowl of oatmeal with nuts and cinnamon. Cinnamon, incidentally, has properties that help stabilize blood sugar. Instead of white pasta, opt for whole grain pasta al dente, or better yet, try chickpea or lentil pasta, which will provide additional protein and fiber without overloading your system with refined carbohydrates. Can you imagine what it would be like to wake up every morning with a clear mind easily, remembering names, dates, and appointments? Can you imagine the difference it would make in your quality of life to be able to actively participate in conversations without that frustration of losing your train of thought mid-sentence? These are not imaginary improvements. They are concrete results that I regularly see in my patients who make these simple dietary changes. Based on recent studies published in the Journal of Neuroscience, choosing the right foods can not only slow cognitive decline, but potentially reverse initial damage. One particularly interesting study followed 1,200 adults over 65 for 5 years and found that those who followed a dietary pattern rich in whole grains, fish, and vegetables had a significantly larger hippocampus, the crucial brain region for memory, when compared to those who consumed more processed foods. I always like to remind my patients, your brain is literally made from what you eat. The membranes of your brain cells, the neurotransmitters that transmit information, the protective coating of neurons. All of this is built from the nutrients you consume daily. And if you're thinking it's too late to make these changes, I have great news. The brain maintains remarkable plasticity even at more advanced ages. A study published in the Journal of Aging Research showed that adults between 70 and 85 who made dietary changes similar to those I described today showed measurable improvements in cognition in just 12 weeks. It's never too late to start properly nourishing your brain. A practical tip I always share: start gradually. Don't try to revolutionize your entire diet at once. Perhaps start by replacing your usual breakfast with options that are healthier for the brain. After 2 weeks, make changes to lunch. In a month, your palate will have begun to adjust, and you'll likely be experiencing the first benefits. My patient Donna Maria, a 78-year-old lady, started by just switching her morning bread for oatmeal with berries and nuts. In the beginning, it was difficult, I confess, she told me, but after 2 weeks, I started to feel so much energy in the morning that I didn't want to go back. 6 months later, she had lost 5 kilos without making any other changes, and most importantly, she went back to doing crossword puzzles, a hobby she had abandoned because my head didn't work for it anymore. It's stories like this that motivate me every day. And for those who think that eating healthy for the brain means giving up flavor or the pleasure of eating, I have more good news. Many of these substitutions can be absolutely delicious. A bowl of natural yogurt with berries and nuts is not just powerful fuel for your brain, it's also a wonderful dessert. A dinner of grilled salmon with roasted vegetables and quinoa is a feast for the senses and for your neurons. Another important point: these dietary changes don't just benefit your brain. The same foods that protect your cognition also improve your cardiovascular health, reduce inflammation throughout the body, balance hormones, and can even improve your sleep quality, which, in turn, is another crucial factor for brain health. So let's recap what we've learned today. Those ultra-processed foods, white breads, sugary cereals, refined pasta, and industrialized cookies may be silently harming your brain through chronic inflammation and dysregulation of glucose metabolism. On the other hand, genuine whole grains, nuts, seeds, omega-3 rich fish, and legumes offer protection and support for your cognitive functions. The difference between prematurely losing your precious memories or maintaining a sharp and present mind into old age can literally be at the end of your fork. It's a choice you make 3 times a day, every day. I would like to close with a reflection. Your memories, the stories you've lived, the faces of the people you love, the skills you've developed throughout life are your most valuable treasure. They define who you are. Protecting them with intelligent food choices is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and the people you love. I sincerely hope this video has been enlightening and inspiring for you. If you like this information, please leave your comment below telling which change you plan to make first. Share this video with someone who might benefit from this information. Perhaps a family member or friend who you've noticed is facing challenges with memory. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content on brain health, longevity, and wellness. This is Dr. Olivia Thompson, always committed to your health and quality of life. Until the next video, take care of yourself with love and feed your brain with the same love you dedicate to the rest of your body. A big hug to you.